The other day I was pulled over on my walk by 2 police officers. Each day my alarm clock goes off at exactly 4:44. I jump out of bed in my gym clothes and I start to walk outside. I bring my cell phone and my index cards so I can work on my speeches. Halfway through my speech, it starts to downpour. I'm about 1.5 miles away from my house. I mean, it's pouring down. The first thing I think of is I need to keep my cell phone dry. So I take my shirt off, I take my cell phone and index cards and I wrap them together and I put them in my shorts to keep them dry. It seems to be working. I decided I'm gonna continue to work on my speeches. I'm 1.5 miles away from home. There's nothing I can do. I can barely see out of my glasses. Water's pouring out of them. It's foggy out, but I'm like, you know what? I want to be in this moment right now. 5 minutes into this walk where I'm working on my body language, hand motions, pauses, memorization, I noticed a car behind me with flashers on. Every time I start walking, it was following me. It wasn't moving fast, it was just kind of behind me. A few more minutes go on and I notice the car is still following me about 100 feet behind. I finally turn around, lift my hands in the air and say, what is it that you want? And I continued walking. A few more minutes go by, the car is still following me. It's a Ford Mustang. I decide I'm getting a little bit nervous now, but I'm gonna go right at this car and find out what it is that they're doing. It's like 5 o'clock something in the morning. I start walking toward the car briskly with my hands in the air, like, what is it that you want from me? The car does an illegal U-turn and goes the other way. I was like, that's really weird. I just wanna get home. I'm start walking again. The car does another illegal U-turn and starts following me again. Now I'm really worried. Another 30 seconds or so goes by. I'm thinking about running. All of a sudden, 2 cop cars pull me over on the side of the road. They get out of their car in the pouring rain and they say, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, thank goodness you're here right now. This guy has been following me for the last 5 to 10 minutes. I'm really scared. He goes, he called the cops on you. He said there's this guy shirtless that looks mentally unstable, that's using his hands and talking to himself. It looks like he has a bulge in his pants and there's a gun or a weapon in his pants. I'm like, the same exact story has 2 completely different judgments. Wow, I thought, I can't believe this. So then I started thinking about judgment. And there's certain cases of judgment is beneficial in our lives. There's actually 4 types of judgments that are actually beneficial. And I call those proactive judgments. And that's when we, number 1, we can use it for ourselves. We judge our own self for self-improvement reasons. Number 2, we use it when someone else asks us or we ask somebody else for their judgment for self-improvement. You have to actually eliminate ego when it comes to it. Number 3, which we just heard, is for safety concerns. If you feel like your safety is in jeopardy, you need to recognize that. And there's a benefit to that, of having a proactive approach there. And then the last way is for role models. We judge our role models because we like certain traits about them. But other than those 4 traits, we are judging things all the time and we need to eliminate them. because those are the reactive judgments. Those reactive judgments serve no purpose whatsoever. The repercussions of those reactive judgments are jealousy, lack of self-worth, lack of confidence, and lack of influence. So how do you move out of a reactive judgment and move it toward an observation? There's a 3-step process. Number 1, you got to become aware of when you're judging someone. If you want to stop judging others and live a better life of significance where you feel like you're constantly growing, we need to observe and recognize when we begin to start judging. Number 2, don't take the bait. A lot of times people will tell us what their judgments of a certain situation are. You don't have to have an opinion. It's okay to not have an opinion. You can say something like, I understand how you could feel that way, but you don't need to have an opinion. And the last way is listen without having an opinion. You can answer questions. I understand how you feel like that. I understand how you can feel that way. These are ways to turn your reactive judgments into observation and try to eliminate those reactive judgments so we can live a life of significance, which will lead to happiness, fulfillment, and more influence on others.